Hey there, welcome back to the channel. You weren't expecting it. Their name lighting up your phone like a ghost from the past you thought you'd buried. For weeks, maybe months, they were gone. Silence, no messages, no calls, no sign they even remembered you existed. And now, out of nowhere, they're back, sliding into your inbox like nothing happened. Your chest tightens. Your fingers hover over the screen. Part of you wants to reply instantly, just to feel that connection again. But another part of you, and the part that's been healing, whispers, "Don't do it. Not yet." You remember how it felt before, how you were always there for them, dropping what you were doing to answer their calls, sacrificing your own needs to make them feel valued. You gave your time, your attention, your energy freely. And in return, they took it all for granted. They acted like your love was endless, like you'd never walk away. And when they were done, they left. No explanation that could justify it, no accountability for the hurt they caused. Now they're back. But here's the thing, you don't know why. Are they lonely? Bored? Looking for an ego boost? Or are they actually ready to take responsibility for what they did? You can't see inside their mind, but you can control what happens next. And that's where your real power is. Because the truth is, the way you handle this moment can either protect your peace or drag you right back into the same cycle that broke you before. This is more than just a message. It's a test of your self-control, your boundaries, and your self-worth. Sometimes the smartest move you can make is to say absolutely nothing. Sometimes silence speaks louder than any response you could type. As Epictetus said, no person is free who is not master of themselves. And right now, mastering yourself means resisting the pull of instant gratification and making a decision from a place of strength, not weakness. So before you reply, or decide not to, I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments. My silence is my power. Hold on to it, because in the next few minutes we're going to uncover exactly when ignoring them is the right move, when it's not, and how you can use this moment to take back control for good. Number 1. The emotional trap. When they contact you after a long silence, the first thing that kicks in isn't logic, it's emotion. It's that sudden rush in your chest, that pull in your stomach, that spark in your mind whispering, maybe this means something. You might tell yourself you're calm, but deep down, your body reacts before your brain has the chance to think. That's the emotional trap. And the dangerous thing about this trap is that it can make you act against your own best interest without even realizing it. You see, when someone who hurt you suddenly reaches out, your mind goes into overdrive trying to assign meaning. You start asking yourself, why now? Do they miss me? Have they finally realized my worth? But here's what you need to remember. There are a lot of reasons they might contact you, and not all of them are good. Sometimes it's boredom. Sometimes it's loneliness on a Friday night. Sometimes they want to see if they still have access to you, just to feed their ego. And yes, sometimes it's genuine regret. But regret without real change is just an emotional hit and run. If you respond instantly in that first wave of excitement or hope, you're giving away two very important things: your emotional state and your power. They'll know you're still available on their terms. They'll sense that no matter how they treated you, one message is all it takes to pull you back. And if they were reaching out for selfish reasons, that instant reply only confirms it was safe to keep treating you the same way. The Stoics understood this danger well. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. The moment you choose not to react impulsively, you take that power back. Because right now, the event, Their message is outside of your control. But how you handle it, that's yours entirely. I'm not saying you should never respond. I'm saying your first reaction is rarely your best one. Emotions are like storms. They pass if you don't chase them. If you can wait until the rush settles, you'll see the situation for what it truly is, not what you want it to be. And sometimes when the fog clears, you realize that replying would have been like walking back into a burning building. So before you answer that text or call, pause, breathe. Ask yourself, am I about to reply because it's truly right for me, or because I can't stand the discomfort of silence? If it's the second one, you already know the trap is set. And the only way to win is not to step in at all. Number 2, master the power of detachment. Detachment isn't about not caring. It's about caring from a place of strength instead of desperation. When your heart is broken, your first instinct is often to cling, to hold on tighter, to prove your worth to the very person who made you feel disposable. But detachment flips that script completely. It's the art of stepping back, not because you've stopped loving, but because you've started loving yourself more. And here's the truth most people won't admit. The moment you stop chasing is the moment you start commanding respect. When you detach, you break the invisible chain that keeps their opinion of you tied to your sense of value. You stop allowing their actions, or lack of them, to control your emotional weather. Suddenly, you're no longer standing in the rain waiting for them to hand you an umbrella. You're building your own shelter. This is where Stoic wisdom becomes your ally. Epictetus said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." Detachment is exactly that. Choosing your response, refusing to be dragged by the emotional tide of someone else's decisions. You may still feel the ache, the longing, the memories flashing in your mind at night, but you stop giving those feelings the power to dictate your actions. Instead of sending that late-night message, you breathe. Instead of checking their social media for clues, you focus on your own progress. And here's the part that stuns them. Detachment forces them to see you in a new light. They're used to having your energy on demand, your heart on the table, your emotions exposed like an open book. But now, the book is closed, not locked forever, but guarded. Your silence becomes louder than your words ever were. They start to wonder if you've moved on, if you've found someone else, if you've finally seen your own worth. The more you detach, the more they realize they can no longer control the narrative. But detachment isn't just a strategy to make them think about you. It's a healing process for you. You start reclaiming your mornings, your peace, your focus. You notice how much mental energy was wasted on overthinking every text, every look, every silence. You begin to live again, to fill your life with things that bring you joy rather than anxiety. Detachment teaches you that love without self-respect isn't love at all. It's dependency, and dependency keeps you trapped. So today, take a small step back. Not in anger, not in bitterness, but in quiet confidence. Let your energy speak for you. The world will not end if you stop trying to win them back. In fact, it might just be the beginning of you finding yourself again. And when you do, you'll realize that the strongest form of love is the kind that starts and ends with you. Number 3, control the space they once occupied. When someone leaves your life, they don't just walk away with their presence. They leave behind a vacuum. That empty space, both in your daily routine and in your mind, becomes dangerous if you let it remain open for them. Because the truth is, if you don't take control of that space, they will always feel like they can return and occupy it whenever they choose. This is why your silence is not enough on its own. you must also reclaim the places, habits, and emotional territories they once dominated. Think about it. Maybe they always called you at night before bed, and now your phone feels too quiet. Maybe they were the first person you texted when something exciting happened, and now your hand still twitches toward your phone out of habit. These are not just memories, they are patterns, and patterns are powerful. If you don't break them, you stay chained to them. And if you stay chained to them, they still have control. Stoic wisdom reminds us, you may not control what happens to you, but you control how you respond. Reclaiming your space is the ultimate response. It's you saying, I own my life again. Start with the physical spaces. If you used to go to a certain cafe together, go there alone or with new friends, and overwrite the memory with a new experience. Change the layout of your room if they once spent time there. Small changes send a big message to your own mind. This is mine now. Then, move to the emotional spaces. They don't get to be the first thought in your morning or the last one at night. Replace those rituals with something empowering. A workout, a walk, journaling, or simply sitting with your coffee and planning your day. It's about rewiring your brain so their absence doesn't feel like a wound, but rather a window to new possibilities. And finally, control the mental space. This means catching yourself when you start replaying old conversations or wondering what they're doing. When that happens, redirect your focus, work on your personal goals, learn a new skill, or dive into something that excites you. Every moment you refuse to give them mental real estate, you weaken their grip over your life. When they eventually notice that their old space in your world is gone, that you filled it with strength, new memories, and self-respect, it will unsettle them deeply. Because nothing terrifies someone who took you for granted more than realizing they are no longer part of your daily life. And when that moment comes, you won't just be surviving without them. You'll be thriving beyond them. Number 4, master the art of emotional detachment. There comes a moment after heartbreak when you realize that clinging to the idea of what could have been is only chaining you to a past that doesn't exist anymore. Emotional detachment doesn't mean you stop caring about life or lose your ability to feel. It means you refuse to let your feelings be controlled by someone who already walked away. When they left, they took a part of your emotional energy with them. But what they don't know is that you have the power to take it back, not by fighting for their attention, but by mastering your own mind. The Stoics taught that we suffer more in our imagination than in reality. Right now, your mind might be running endless loops of, why did they leave? Or, what are they doing without me? These thoughts are emotional traps. Detachment is breaking free from those loops. It's about creating mental space where their name doesn't echo anymore, where your peace is no longer dependent on their presence. Emotional detachment begins with awareness. Every time you feel that wave of sadness or anger, stop and notice it without letting it carry you away. Imagine it's just a cloud passing in the sky. You see it, you acknowledge it, and then you let it drift. This isn't about suppressing feelings. It's about not letting them dominate you. When they see that you're no longer reacting, no longer giving them the emotional fuel they once thrived on, they will notice, and it will bother them. People expect you to break, to chase, to prove your worth to them. But when you detach, you silently communicate that your worth isn't up for negotiation. This shift doesn't happen overnight. You will have moments where your heart still aches, where the urge to reach out feels unbearable. But each time you choose silence over desperation, reflection over reaction, you strengthen your fortress. You're telling yourself, I choose me, and here's the truth. Emotional detachment is attractive, not in the shallow sense, but in the deep, unshakable energy you radiate when you're no longer tethered to someone else's validation. The day you master this art is the day their control ends. They can try to provoke you, to test if you still care, but your calmness will speak louder than any words. Detachment doesn't just protect you from the person who hurt you, it protects you from ever being broken in the same way again. In the end, emotional detachment is not about losing love for them, it's about gaining love for yourself. And once you have that, no one can take it away. Number 5. The power of delayed response. When your phone buzzes with their name, the world seems to pause for a moment. Your heart races, your fingers itch to type back instantly, to fix what was broken, to feel connected once again. But here's the hidden truth. The first reply is rarely the most powerful. In fact, waiting, delaying your response, is one of the strongest moves you can make. It's a sign of control, of calm, and of emotional maturity. The impulsive reply is driven by need. The delayed reply is driven by choice. The Stoics taught us about the importance of measured responses. Seneca once said, "If one does not know to which port one is sailing, no wind is favorable." When you reply immediately, you're often sailing without a clear direction, lost in the storm of your emotions. Waiting lets you find your true course. It gives you time to breathe, to analyze, to decide what kind of message you want to send, if any at all. Waiting doesn't mean ignoring forever or playing childish games. It means respecting your own emotional process and not handing over your peace on a silver platter. By delaying your response, you send a silent message that your attention is valuable. You're not desperate or available at any time. You're a person with boundaries and standards. This delay also protects you from saying things you might regret later. When emotions run high, words can be sharp, defensive, or overly vulnerable. Taking time to respond allows you to craft a message that reflects your strength rather than your pain. You might choose to keep it brief, clear, and free from emotional weight. A message that says, "I'm in control and I know my worth." Remember, there is a big difference between ignoring forever and choosing not to respond right away. Ignoring cuts off all communication, often out of hurt or anger. Delaying, however, is an active decision, a strategic pause that serves your well-being and self-respect. So next time their message appears, resist the urge to reply immediately. Pause, reflect. Ask yourself, what response will serve me best? Whether you decide to answer or not, make sure your choice comes from a place of strength, not weakness. Number 6. Your self-worth test. When they reach out after all the silence and pain, your mind floods with questions. Should I reply? Will it hurt me more? Am I ready to face whatever comes next? These questions aren't just doubts, they are your self-worth test. Before you type a single word, you must honestly ask yourself, will replying make me feel stronger or weaker? This is the most important question because it reveals whether you're acting from confidence or from a place of need. Too often, people reply because they crave validation. They want to feel wanted, important, or loved again. But that craving is a trap. It's the same trap that made you lose yourself before. Stoicism teaches us to look inward and focus on what we can control, which is ourselves, our decisions, and how we value our own peace. Marcus Aurelius said, "The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts." If your thoughts tell you that responding will break your peace, then the right choice is silence. The second question you must ask is, are they reaching out for me or just to fill a void in themselves? Sometimes people come back not because they want to rebuild what was lost, but because they feel lonely, bored, or insecure. They're looking for comfort, a quick ego boost, and not a real connection. If you realize that their message is more about them than about you, it becomes easier to protect your boundaries. You're not a safety net or a backup plan. You deserve someone who values you for who you are, not for what they need in the moment. Lastly, ask yourself, am I ready to handle the possible outcome? This is crucial, because sometimes, even if you want to respond, the truth is you may not be emotionally ready to face rejection, confusion, or the reopening of old wounds. Being honest about your emotional readiness is an act of self-care and strength. Epictetus reminded us, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Knowing yourself, your limits, your boundaries, your healing process, lets you make decisions that protect your growth instead of risking setbacks. Your self-worth test isn't about judging them or punishing yourself. It's about honoring the person you've become. It's about making choices that build you up rather than tear you down. If replying feels like stepping backward into pain, then hold your silence as a shield. If it feels like a step forward toward healing, then choose your words wisely and from a calm place. Remember, true strength comes from acting in alignment with your values, not from chasing someone else's approval. Your peace, your power, and your progress depend on this test. So take a deep breath, listen to your heart and mind, and trust yourself to choose what's best, even if that means saying nothing at all. Number 7. Build your emotional fortress. In the aftermath of heartbreak and silence, the most powerful thing you can do isn't to chase or respond. It's to build an emotional fortress around yourself. This fortress is not a wall of coldness or bitterness. It's a sanctuary of strength, self-respect, and peace. When they contact you, and your heart still aches, this fortress keeps you safe. It doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you protect your feelings from being crushed again. Think of your emotional fortress as your personal stronghold. Inside it, you are in control. You decide who gets in and who stays out. You guard your energy like the precious resource it is. Stoicism teaches us about the power of boundaries. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Your emotional fortress is where you apply that wisdom. You control your mind, your reactions, and your peace, no matter what others do. Building this fortress starts with self-awareness. You recognize the moments when old wounds threaten to reopen, when the temptation to reply immediately comes rushing back. Instead of surrendering, you pause. You remind yourself why you chose silence before, why your healing matters more than instant gratification. This pause is your fortress's gatekeeper, deciding which feelings deserve entry and which must wait outside. Next, your fortress is built by replacing old, painful patterns with new rituals. Instead of scrolling through their messages or social media, you fill your time with things that nourish you: reading, exercise, hobbies, or meaningful conversations with friends who lift you up. Each positive action is like a stone added to your fortress walls, making you stronger and more resilient. Your emotional fortress also means setting clear boundaries. You don't answer every call or text just because they appear. You choose your moments and words carefully, maintaining your dignity. When you respond, it's from a place of calm, not chaos. This control unsettles those who thought they still had power over you, because it shows them that your value is not negotiable. Finally, remember that your fortress is a living structure. It grows as you do. Some days it feels impenetrable. Other days it feels shaky. That's okay. Building emotional strength is a journey, not a destination. Be patient with yourself. Each choice to protect your peace is a victory. So when they reach out and your phone buzzes with their name, your fortress stands tall. It doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you won't be broken again. You've claimed your power, your peace, and your progress. You don't owe anyone an instant reply, or any reply at all. You owe yourself the right to decide when, how, and if they get your attention. Remember this: every time you choose silence over a rushed reply, you protect your peace, your power, and your progress. This is your fortress. Guard it fiercely. Because the strongest love you'll ever know is the love you give yourself. You've made it this far, and that shows your strength. Remember, the moment they reach out after silence isn't just about them. It's about you reclaiming your power. Choosing silence, choosing when to respond, or choosing not to respond at all isn't weakness. It's the ultimate act of self-respect. You don't owe anyone your instant attention, your explanation, or your peace. The world will always rush you to react, to prove yourself, to chase after what you want. But true strength is found in patience and control. As Marcus Aurelius said, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Your silence isn't a wall, it's a path forward, a way to build your confidence, your boundaries, and your emotional freedom. So, take this moment and own it. Reflect on what you've learned today. When they contact you, ask yourself, will replying help me grow or hold me back? Am I ready for whatever may come? Am I protecting my peace above all else? Your journey to healing and empowerment isn't a straight line. Some days will be easier, some harder. But every choice to protect yourself, every moment of silence you embrace, is a victory that builds your fortress stronger. If this video helped you see the power in silence, if it gave you new strength to set boundaries and honor your worth, then please hit that like button. Share your thoughts and that affirmation, "My silence is my power," in the comments. I want to hear from you. And if you want more wisdom on mastering your emotions, building resilience, and living with unshakable confidence, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. This community is here to support your journey every step of the way. Remember, your peace is priceless. Guard it fiercely. You have the power. Use it wisely. Thank you for watching. Stay strong.